It just makes zero sense to me how somebody can sit at home and do nothing, do absolutely nothing, dress my kids like slobs, make them. It's horrible, man.
Right, Mr.
They
Grace.
come home and tell me
Mr.
so.
Grace. Okay, Mr. Grace, here's what we'll do. Let's give it. I'm going to put minimum wage to her, and we'll add in child care costs. Mr. Pratt saying it's about $800. That's average. And
we'll keep it at
you want to
the
pay $1,500, Mr. Grace? Do you want to keep arguing about this because it's going to go up? I can guarantee you that.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, today's video might hit close to home for a lot of y'all out there, man. If you a man that's ever gone through some stuff with the court systems or, you know, child support or anything like that, this video might stir up some bad emotions in you. I'm not gonna lie, it might make your blood boil a little bit. But in today's video, man, we have a father who ends up getting called to the court. First review in like a long time. They end up reviewing him for the child support. The wife ends up trying to get more money out of him, and as you see as the video goes on, she's jobless, and it just kind of becomes a situation for the guy, his emotions to get riled up. It's kind of crazy video for real. Like I said earlier, man, just something that I feel a lot of people may be able to relate to, just going through the child support system or having to deal with the courts in that way. It's just, I think it's something a lot of people can relate to. But with that being said though, man, I appreciate y'all kicking with me today, man. If y'all are here, you haven't done it, man, hit that subscribe button down below, man. It don't cost you nothing. You might enjoy it, man. Try to drop videos weekly for y'all, man. If you end up watching a good amount of the video, man, hit that like button too down below, man, just so the algorithm knows that we belong. Get it, man. We can help keep pushing the, you know, the videos out, help keep pushing the channel. Really helps a lot. And if you are subscribed and you haven't done it yet, man, turn them post notifications on just so you never miss a drop. Appreciate all the supporters on the different platforms, man. Shout out to Instagram game, man. We're really trying to grow to Instagram, so if you can follow the Instagram too, man, we're trying to grow that platform out. YouTube been adding a lot of new features, man, so I can see those of you guys, like the top chatters and all the different things down below, man. So we're gonna be trying new things out, man. So I'm thinking that maybe top commenters or top gifters maybe getting rewards back, maybe bi-weekly or monthly or anything like that. So I can see those of you guys that really showing support in that way and just want to get back to you guys and show my appreciation in that way. So starting from now, man, if you want to build that rapport, man, just comment something like RL down below, man. Shout out for the Rome love, you feel me? Just to show some support and build up the rapport and maybe get a reward back. That's enough yapping though, man. This is gonna be a pretty long one, so y'all may want to get some snacks, chill out, get comfortable or something like that. It's like 5 parts to the video, so it's gonna be a pretty, you know, hefty one. All that said, we're gonna get into the video.
Mr. Grace, the court was informed that you were acting inappropriately, using foul language when you met with Mr. Pratt. This court will not accept that. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And if you cannot participate as an adult in a rational fashion, we'll give you the opportunity to be heard. If you cannot, then we're going to mute you. Do you understand that? That will not be tolerated. You should not
I understand. It's just it's hard not to be emotional when we'll talk about it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
And if you cannot control yourself, then hire an attorney to talk on your behalf, Mr. Grace.
I have no money to hire an attorney. I have to give it all to her.
You're not giving it to her. You're supporting your children, Mr. Grace.
100%, sir. But I mean, if I may
stop right there. You can stop right there, Mr. Grace. All right. The parties have conferred with Mr. Pratt this morning. The recommendation of Mr. Pratt is that child support, modified child support, enter commencing January 1st, 2024. Mr. Grace shall pay child support in the amount of $1,103 per month. Uninsured medical expenses shall be shared as follows: 10% by plaintiff mother, 90% by defendant father. It's based upon dad having 75 overnights. That's a recommendation. It's a pretty significant increase from the current support order of almost double the current support order. All right, Mr. Danielski, is this recommendation good with your client this morning?
Your Honor, my position on this, and keep in mind, the last child support order was quite a long time ago. I think it was a number of years ago. My position was, as I mentioned to Ms. LaPrade, if Mr. Grace wasn't going to object, I'm not going to object. At the end of the day, sure, I can.
How am I to support my children? I barely make $2,600 take home after I pay Amy and the courts and everything else. And now on top of it, I'm gonna $1,100. My rent is $1,000. Like I just don't understand how, and that's why I got so upset. And I do apologize. But everything that's came out of her lawyer's mouth is to belittle me and make me look like I'm not a good father, and I am. She literally, she's an RN or an LPN, Your Honor, and she has not worked in 4 years, 3 years. I understand that she has another child, but that child is not my responsibility whatsoever. I take care of my 2 children, and I struggle doing it, but I do it. She's taken my kids from me to where I can't talk to them, so I had to file a motion. I filed the motion. I'm doing everything as a father. And it just keeps taking and taking and taking. She has a husband that she can rely on. I have nobody. I had me, and it's frustrating. So yes, I did get a little. My mouth gets the best of me sometimes, but I'm trying. And it went from $650. I'm paying $722 plus I pay $135. I have my kids on my insurance. So on top of that, it's going up almost double. And I barely make it as it is. So I mean, I don't know what to do. I mean, obviously, this is probably going to happen. I'm going to have to pay double, but I don't understand. Like, how am I supposed to support myself? You said that it's to support my children, but at the same time, I can't support them if they don't have a place to live when they come see me. I'm working now. I make $21 an hour. I work 48 hours a week, barely work any overtime. I drive an hour from my home. I drive 2 hours to go get my kids every other weekend. I didn't fight her on living in Ohio. I didn't fight her on none of that. But here I am. She's fighting me on everything. Everything. From a woman that is wanting to support her kids but doesn't have a job. She's relying on her husband and my child support. It makes zero sense. I have no problem paying the $722 plus $135. That's what I feel that I should pay. And when my kids come, sir, we don't just sit at home. We go out to eat. We do things. We do activities. I buy them stuff. We have fun. And I'm not going to be able to do none of that. That's all, sir. That's all.
All right, Mr. Grace, there's no question, of course, of mine. You're a good father. You're here today. You've been exercising your parenting time. That's not an issue in this court's opinion. And child support is based upon a formula, black and white formula, your income. My understanding, it's based upon your new income, not your former income, but your current income. Is that correct, Ms. Plaid? You ran these numbers on his current income, and it's about $48,000 a year.
I did, Your Honor.
And if sir, may I say something real quick?
If Ms. Obeski worked, then there'd be child care costs, and that would be a part of the calculation. You have to contribute.
I would rather pay the child to have instead of her not working. We both should be working. So if I have to pay the child support or for the kids to be in daycare, then it is what it is. But at least I know she's working. But here I am, almost going double to pay a woman that doesn't even work. And I'm literally going to, sir. If I have to pay $1,100 a month, it will break me. It will destroy me. I will once again have to look for another job, and there goes me getting behind again because I can't make the payments. I'm going to literally have to find another job because I do not work enough overtime here to survive if this is the case. I just don't understand how it can double.
Well, because of the fact it's not been reviewed in so long. Mr. Pratt, if the court imputed that minimum wage to Ms. Sobeski, how much difference would that make? Then, of course, we don't know what the child care costs are.
Sir,
the court has the authority to impute minimum wage to her. Is that correct?
The court can do that, Your Honor. But again, yes, we could do that both ways. We could also make sure we imputed any child care that we may assume. The problem that you're going to have is that it's likely to be more because the child care will be higher if we were to impute an amount for her.
So who's the child care for?
So that's the court's final analysis too, Mr. Grace. The child care costs added in, even if we imputed minimum wage to her, you could be looking at more than $1,103. So this is based upon there's the child support formula set by the state of Michigan, and this is based upon the formula. So at this point in time, the court appreciates your position. I understand it. You can have an attorney review the figures. You can review all the calculations, and I think you will agree with this calculation. But this does not mean you're not a good father, Mr. Grace.
I make $840 a week. Okay, if you guys are taking $1,100 from me, how is anybody looking for support with me? Like, if I can't, I'm not going to be able to support my kids if I can't support myself. And Your Honor, I was making the same amount that I was making 4 years ago. So I don't understand how how it's up more when I'm making less because I was working. That's all overtime. Everything it was all overtime, and I'm working none.
And this calculation is based upon your current employment, not your former employment. It's based upon your current employment.
I was making more at my former employment. You see what I'm saying? I was making more.
Right, but
Your
this
Honor.
is calculation. Mr. Pratt, can you explain?
At the request of the court, if I put mom in at minimum wage and $800 a month in childcare, which is probably a low estimate, the support goes up to $1,504. Just so you're aware.
Who's the daycare for?
For the children.
They go to
mom's
school.
got to work. Somebody's got to watch the children.
They go to school and she has a husband.
Okay. Well, but then they need latchkey after school in the summertime.
There's two parents in the household.
Yeah.
So they're 11 and 7.
Yeah. It might be well worth it to invest in an attorney, just have an attorney consult for this limited issue of child support, have him run the figures. If he knows the Michigan child support guidelines, Mr. Grace,
but why would
you rely upon
you
the
guys are
firm
telling me
court,
this is
Mr.
what you guys ran and it's 1103? Why would it change if I get a lawyer? That's just more money that I have to spend in the broker I get.
Because you can confirm with the lawyer that this is a very good recommendation. That's what you can confirm.
I already know I already know. I either go with 1103 or I get screwed at the 1500. So I'm in a win-lose-lose situation. It just makes zero sense to me how somebody can sit at home and do nothing, do absolutely nothing, dress my kids like slobs, make them. It's horrible, man.
Right, Mr. Grace. Mr. Grace. Okay, Mr. Grace, this is what we'll do. Let's give it. I'm going to put minimum wage to her, and we'll add in child care costs. Mr. Pratt saying it's about $800. That's average. And
we'll keep it at the level of
$1,500. Mr. Grace, do you want to keep arguing about this because it's going to go up? I can guarantee you that.
No, we'll keep it at the 1103. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to win, right. So it is what it is. It just makes zero sense to me how somebody can sit at home and do nothing, do absolutely nothing, dress my kids like slobs, make them. It's horrible, man.
Right, Mr. Grace. Mr. Grace. Okay, Mr. Grace, this is what we'll do. Let's give it. I'm going to put minimum wage to her. And we'll add in child care costs. Mr. Pratt saying it's about $800. That's average. And we'll keep it at the level of $1,500. Mr. Grace, do you want to keep arguing about this because it's going to go up? I can guarantee you that.
No, we'll keep it at the 1103. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to win, right. So it is what it is.
But just talk to an attorney to say whether or not this is on base. I think the attorney will confirm with you that this is a reasonable and appropriate amount of child support. So the court's going to adopt the recommendation. That will conclude this hearing. You can both zoom out. If your income drops, Mr. Grace, you can always file a motion to modify and reduce your support obligation.
So, I mean, in all honesty, I'm better off quitting my job and saying I have no job. In all honesty, and working under the table like all these other deadbeat dads do.
Yeah, man, absolutely tough one. I mean, you can see just the amount of frustration that guy had trying to explain his situation to the courts or anything like that. And, rightfully so. I mean, there's plenty of dads. I mean, thousands upon thousands of probably fathers across the country that's probably going through the same thing, the same amount of frustration. I mean, it's really a what can you do situation. And look, hey, I mean, I completely understand. I mean, if there's any sector in our legal system today that probably deserves a rework or a reform outside of the prison system, it's probably the child support system. I mean, it's honestly as much sense as he was making just the way that the child support system today works. There's not much that judge could have done for him. I know I saw a lot of comments saying that the judge was against him from the jump, but the fact of the matter is that those guys work on a formula like he tried to explain to him. And like I said, the lawyer sat down, calculated the amount that he makes in. I mean, it's unfortunate for him that his amount was adjusted, I guess, due to the overtime that he was working, and he may not get that overtime moving forward. It's kind of a terrible situation. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to child support in our legal system today, there's not much room for individual biases on the part of the judge, barring any unfit living conditions, that the parents are setting for the children or anything like that, or any violence or any, thing like that in the household. And just for clarification, just because I know this is something that I was confused on when I watched a couple seconds of the videos beforehand, but I know that there were some people in the comments, saying that, why would he have to pay for childcare if she doesn't have a job or anything like that? She can stay home and watch the kids. She doesn't have a job. But the judge and that woman's his lawyer were only saying that they would apply the child care to his child support if they applied the minimum wage to her, you know, to her, because minimum wage would imply that she has to go get a job and she can't stay home and watch the kids. So if this guy is in fact telling the truth, and I'm not calling him a liar, I'm just saying, you know, based off things that I was seeing, I don't know what his situation is, but if it is true and you know that overtime is what inflated the price, then I think the best course of action would be to tough it out for that little bit and then call another review as soon as he can get a better baseline of what his funds will actually look like, you know, on a regular basis instead of with all the overtime and stuff. Now, I'm not a betting man, but if I was one, I might say that I think he does make a decent amount of money right now, or he does make enough money to pay that $1,100 that they were asking of him, but he might have a few payments on some things that he might have, you know, thought everything was cool. And, you know, if you was looking, you saw them red seats in the background, so he might have a little higher car payment that he's paying right now because he thought the child support was so low, he had room to pay for it. And now that it's getting raised, he may not have the money to really sustain that. Car looked kind of nice. Not saying that's fact, I'm just saying, you know, I was looking around and that could be something that's going on. But lastly, man, I will say that I know he was frustrated there at the end, and I know he was kind of just venting the vent, but you know, he's not lying about what he said there at the end. And I know a lot of men do that. I mean, in a lot of these situations where child support is just weighing on these men so heavily on their funds, a lot of them do take the route of, you know, taking these jobs that pay under the table so that the child support can't account for that money coming in. And look, man, all I say on that is, if you're someone that's out here handling your responsibilities as a man, taking care of your children, making sure they're okay, making sure, you know, everything goes well for them in their day to day, then hey, I don't see no problem with you, you know, finding a way to live day to day and work around without having to stretch yourself to the thinnest to get by with the child support system over your back. I'm not against it, only if you're handling your responsibilities as a man. And while this man may be, I know there are a lot of men out here that are not. I know there's a lot of men skating the child support system, and, you know, a lot of deadbeats out here not taking care of their kids, not, you know, not handling their responsibilities. So it's kind of a hard situation because, like I said, if you cater to one side, then you cater to the bad on that side, and vice versa. So, you know, policymakers are charged with a tall task of trying to find a decent middle ground. And like I said, but I do think right now that child support is in a terrible spot, and it does deserve some reworking. I mean, I think those policies was put into place when groceries and everything you get out here was a lot cheaper now. So we in a much different spot than when those policies were set, and I think the policies need to evolve to reflect that. So, but that's pretty much all I got to say on this one today, though, man. Please let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, man. This is one of those ones I know there might be a lot of different opinions on this one, so let me know if you guys think I was wrong. You know, I could be wrong. I'm not, you know, I'm not the pinnacle of knowledge on any topic we may be talking about. So let me know what you guys think down below. Have a dialogue down below in the comments, or join the Discord if you want to have a dialogue over there. You know, send videos or whatnot. Do that too. I appreciate you guys sticking with me this long, man. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below. Join the family. Don't cost you nothing. Spam them RLs down in the chat just to get the top commenters. We will be trying to get those rewards out to the top commenters, top gifters, all that jazz, man. We're gonna try to do more right by you guys, especially since I can see you guys now more clearly. Yeah, we definitely gonna try to get that in. If you made it this far in the video, you definitely liked the video, so go ahead, leave that like down below in the comments too. If you made it this far in the video, man, you probably do like the video, so go ahead, leave a like down below too if you can. And lastly, man, if you have one, make sure to follow up on the Instagram. We're really trying to grow that platform. I appreciate all the love you guys been showing on there already, man. We have been growing a lot over this past year. You guys been a huge blessing to me, man, and we're gonna keep growing and we're gonna keep moving forward. So, but with all that said, though, man, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank God for you guys, man. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.